Hey guys, Dadtries, and this is Disco Elysium. From the Steam store page, Disco Elysium is described as a role-playing game, and full price is going to run you $40. I happen to find this on sale for $10. Disco Elysium is Steam Deck verified. That's one of the reasons why it was attractive to me when I was looking through and deciding which game I was going to play next. So it does run just fine on the Steam Deck performance-wise. It looks good. It runs good. It is kind of annoying. It's very click heavy, so there is a lot of moving the mouse around with the little trackpad on the side of the Steam Deck, and if you don't mind that, then it's perfectly playable on the Steam Deck. I kind of shied away from playing it on the Steam Deck because I don't like having to move the mouse with the Steam Deck and having to get real granular like that. It kind of not a real good play style for me. It plays just fine docked. And another thing I'll mention about the Steam Deck is the Steam Cloud. When you save the game, it will actually also transfer the resolution you last played at. So going from my Steam Deck to when I go sit at my regular PC, which I normally have in 2K, it was still at the 1280 by 800 resolution, and so every time I played on the Steam Deck, I'd have to go back and change the resolution. Not a huge deal, not a deal breaker, but kind of annoying. Alright, so what is Disco Elysium other than a role-playing game like the Steam store page says? So it's a point-and-click game. It's very, very story-driven. It's borderline a storybook type game, kind of like when I did the Coffin of oh god, I hated that game. Coffin of Andy and Leyley. Yep, just went back and looked. That's what it's called. That game was awful. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to see it. But this is kind of another one that's like that. It's not as weird. It's not as dark. I mean, the plot of the game is good, and let me tell you, the storytelling and the inner dialogue and all of the interaction you have with all of the characters is 100% voice acted in this game, and it's very good. The voice acting is fantastic. I will play some of the dialogue for you towards the end of the video when I cut out. But you start off in this little apartment. You wake up from a drunken stupor, and you have no idea what's going on. You pretty much have complete amnesia. You have no idea where you are, why you're there, or what you're doing. And the story goes from there. Now, I was told that you got to try and get to day 3 in the game before it really starts to get interesting. I've got 10 hours into it, and I'm only on day 1 still, and it's all I can do. Again, let me reiterate that the storytelling is great. All of the characters are awesome. The inner dialogue that you have with yourself is very good. I mean, I died in some pretty funny ways, I will say. I don't have an issue with losing at the game. That's totally fine. It's well, let me say another good thing about the game before I dive in here. It's really good if you want to snack, if you like eating while you're playing the game. You can play it entirely with one hand. So I will say that. But the downside is here, dads and moms. There's probably some moms. I hope there's some moms watching this channel. Parents, the downside to this game here, and again, just remember, those of you watching, listening to my words here, my channel is geared towards parents who don't have a lot of time to invest into games. And with that territory, the parent territory, also comes the perpetual tiredness. I have never fallen asleep playing a game more than I have in this. I have fallen asleep in my chair every single time I played this game, and that's why I can't give it a good review. I'm sure if I could get through it and I could really sink my teeth into this game, it would be fantastic, and I would love the story. But I can't. It puts me right to sleep, and it's just so... The environment is depressing, but it's supposed to be. That's part of the game. But the issue is it's so down low, and everything is monotone, and the entire vibe of the game, it rocks me right to sleep. It is not 100% point, click, listen to the dialogue. move along, do it again. There are dice rolls that happen in the game. There are items in the game. Granted, not a ton. I want to say in the description it says there's 14 equipable items and like 80 different things you can wear. So do with that what you will. Equipping different things and wearing different things does change the stats that you have, which will change your perception from the NPCs. So it's going to give you bonuses towards your rolls or negative effects towards your rolls. The things and the environment that you try to interact with are all going to be based upon those roles and how you've allocated your skill points. You can level up, that's going to give you skill points as well, and then each skill point you can dump into a different inner dialogue or inner conflict that you have with yourself, such as empathy. Having a little bit higher of an empathy stat lets you see where people are coming from and maybe understand their backstory a little bit more, and then that's going to give you new dialogue choices or a higher roll to succeed on some dialogue choices to kind of get what you want out of the game. Now, there is a lot to the game. The campaign has multiple endings. Every time you play it, you're pretty much guaranteed to see something you didn't the last time you played it. I'm sure there's 40 hours worth of content here. I mean, at $40 for full price, I'm sure you will get value out of it. This game is beloved by a lot of people, and a lot of people have a lot of time into it. There is some controversy with the developer, and that is ZA/UM. I don't know what that stands for. But I'm not going to get into the controversy around the developer. I know that there was some issue with like the people who made the game and the people who ended up making money off the game aren't the same, I think. And that's as deep as I'm going to go there. But the point I really want to drive home about Disco Elysium is the fact that the content's there. The game is well done for what it is, for the genre that it is, for the type of game that it is. It is well done. I can say that definitively. But if you're someone who has limited time to play games, keep looking. The time commitment for this is too great. And that's why I've got to really recommend that you move on from this one, as far as, again, there's going to be some really angry people who listen to this review, but really it's not the game itself. It's the entertainment value that I got from the small amount of time and short play sessions that I do. It's just not there. It was really hard to get into. I mean, I struggled to hit 10 hours. So there's that. That's what I've got to say about Disco Elysium. I'm sorry this review took a little bit longer to get out than other games, but frankly the reason why is because I didn't want to play the game anymore. But I had to get to 10 hours, but I kept falling asleep. So that's it. That's why it took forever. The game's a lullaby. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of your day. Leave me a comment if I'm missing something entirely. Like if I'm just hand over fist missing the big picture of this game, and you can change my perspective and make this game more appealing to me, I want to know, because I think it can be good. But how can I, with any sort of integrity, recommend anybody buy a game that repeatedly puts me to sleep? There it is. Take it easy.
Just a second, officer.
Ten 2, 10 5. This is 41st. Come in. Over.
A scrawny old man sits in a dusty cubicle, smoking, with a large white rectangle sewn on his vest. In front of him is a box-shaped apparatus with an array of wires and antennas. The radio switchboard.
Ten 4, what's your status? Over. 10-18, 10-20, over. 10-18, 10-20, over. State your message, sir. Over. 10-9, repeat message. Over. 10-4, message received. This is a very serious situation. I need to 1022 the captain. Over.
1022, the captain. This sounds bad. Bad and scary. Like being called to the headmaster's office in school.
Is it him? What does he want?
Says he lost his badge and needs to report it.
He what? He lost his badge?
Who lost his badge?
Dick fucking Mullen. Who do you think?
It's Officer Dick Mullen from the bestseller Dick Mullen and the Lost Identity.
Dick Mullen is not your name. It's the name of a fictional detective who would not lose his badge.